everybody, and welcome to another October daily process video. I am currently a little bit behind posting my videos for you guys. I'm not behind on the project. I've been working on it. I just have not gotten the videos voiceovered, and to be honest, I've tried to voice over this video for 2 full days. We are in full swing of fall break and celebrating Andrew's 13th birthday, and it just has been bananas. My husband's on vacation, and I don't know. You can weigh in, but my husband went to Costco the other day, and I was going to voice over this video, and I got 5 texts from him. And then I had 2 phone calls. So it's quite an ordeal. So in this video, I want to show you where I'm at with this project. And I also want to chat with you about staying on top of your projects or getting behind, or my mindset on that. And this video goes out to Gail, who left a comment on my YouTube video for one of my October dailies, I believe. And I always say, if you have a question or you're struggling with something, to leave a comment and I will help you out. I will address it. I will get in touch with you. I will try to help you through whatever it is you're struggling with. And so this one goes out to Gail. So let me explain what I'm doing really quick. On the back side of this right here is the stories of home that I did. So the 4 grid right there that says this story, and then it says stories of home. The other side of that is my stories of home story. And stories of home is just something that I do in my project life album every single year. I usually do it in my family album, and I document our home and where, just things that happen in your home. From year to year, things look different. Looks very different than when we first moved in here 13 years ago. And so I just like documenting that over the years, and it's so fun to look back on. And so I'm doing that this year in my 4x4 album, and I'm just applying full adhesive to the back of this. This is acetate. I did the other side, the other story on the other side, and then I want to add a piece of full pattern paper to this side. So I'm just adding these full adhesive sheets. I'm so sorry, my head got in the way. And then I'm going to add the pattern paper. As a reminder, I'm using the Tracy Reed Bountiful collection. It was a November collection for last year, so I'm just not using the November pieces, and then anything else I am using. And so I'm going to document a story here of Andrew in this truck. This is our truck that we just have on our property. We use it for wood cutting, and it's really banged up. It's really old. It's not in the greatest shape, but we just use it for hauling things around the property and doing wood cutting and that kind of thing. And he has started going in, and he'll sit in it, and it's, has the windows just roll down. And so he'll go out there and he'll sit in it, and he's been having fun in it and hanging out in the back of it. And I just want to tell that story. So that's the story that I'm going to document on this next section. And so I just want to talk about a little bit about how I approach memory keeping projects. And I want to share a few tips with you that will help you, hopefully, with your memory keeping. If you asked me if all of my projects are all caught up right now currently, I would tell you no. My family album I haven't touched in about a month. And then my One Little Word album, I haven't done anything for September, and I haven't set it up for October. And so that is technically, behind. And I use that term very loosely because I never feel behind on my memory keeping projects. And this is the biggest tip or takeaway that I can share with you, is that, with other hobbies in the paper crafting world, like card making, you can always make a card. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the occasion. You can start working on your Christmas cards in July, or you can, make birthday cards, or there's always a way to make cards. It doesn't matter what season you're in. You can make cards. With memory keeping, if you're completely caught up with all of your memory keeping, then there's no memory keeping to do. So the way that I look at it is, I never want to be caught up, and I don't feel stressed out when things aren't caught up, because that is the joy of doing this hobby. And my first love is memory keeping. It is the thing that I love doing. I do a lot of projects. I also do more projects probably than most people, and I have more time to work on projects because technically this is my full-time job. So for many years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I was earning a paycheck by crafting and by putting out content. And so I have full days. I don't go outside of the home and work. And so I'm here all the time and I'm always doing something crafty. And so I just want to share that aspect of what I do just to keep it in perspective that I have more time than most people. And memory keeping is something that just runs through my veins. It's just the way I think. I take a lot of photos and I think about these projects always nonstop, right? So a couple things to help you with your projects is the first thing is always work on what you're motivated to work on. Currently, I've been really motivated to work on my personal Project Life album that is actually caught up through August. And then I'm very motivated to work on this October daily project. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm not worrying about my family album. I know I have a system in place that will allow me to get caught up, and I use air quotes when I'm saying that, to get caught up with that project. And so I'm not worried about it. So I always encourage you to work on the thing that is motivating you. The other thing is that there's always going to be reasons a project is paused, and to just recognize when that happens. Currently, my album for Kayla, my process of working through her albums has been on pause because I need to get some Project Life app pages printed, and I was waiting until October to see if Becky Higgins would do a print sell. Sometimes she does that in October because it's the anniversary of the Project Life app. And so I was waiting, and so I paused that project, and I haven't worked on it since I think July was the last time I worked on it. It doesn't look like she's going to do an app print sell, and so I'm just going to go ahead and get those printed, and then I will start working on that again. The other thing that I will say is that I have a not a list, but I have projects that I do like to have finished in a certain time frame. So my Project Life albums, my family album, and then my personal album, I like to wrap up at the end of the year. They go from January to December. I like to have them wrapped up in December. And so I work really hard to have those done so that I can move on and keep current, because I feel like when I'm working on my family album in real time, meaning if it's September, I'm working on September layouts, I just feel like I document more thoroughly, and I just feel like I'm engaged in it more than if when you're looking back at a project, you just tell it, you work on it, you tell the stories a little bit different. It's not better. It's not, the best way or the worst way. It's just what I like. So that's the other thing that I really encourage you to do, is tap into the thing that you like. If it bothers you to be working on a Project Life family album or personal album, after the fact, way after the fact, then make that project a priority. Also, I will say, with that, I do have a system. I talk about systems a lot. I think it's very, very important to have a system for your memory keeping. Like for October Daily, I'm only using one collection. I have it all together. I have all of the pieces that I'm using all together, and it's sat in one spot, even if that's on your kitchen table or your living room, like a coffee table. Like, I have all of that contained. You can get a basket, you can get, a bin. There's lots of organizational items out there that can contain your items. And so by just having a system where I'm like, okay, I'm using this one collection, here's all my supplies, it's very easy for me to sit down and do several layouts at one time. Same thing with my Project Life albums, my family album and my personal album. I have systems, so I know, like right now, my family album is a little bit behind. It doesn't stress me out because I have a system. I have everything in place. I have my photos printed. I have my supplies ready. I will sit down, I will catch that up in one afternoon of crafting. And the inspiration will hit me. I will get excited when I sit down to do it, and then I'll just do it. So having that system in place is really important. Okay, jumping back to the project really quick, just so I can share what I did. I added that photo of Andrew with the truck, inside the truck right there. I added this I love. I think I stamp the day or the story number on there. And then on the opposite side of that, I will leave that blank and I will do the journaling for that, and I will type that out. It's a lot of journaling I want to do. You can fit more journaling in when you type it than if you write it. And so I will type all of that, and then I will add the text to that. And then on the other side, we're going to jump into another story. So that's what I'm doing for this. I think this is the third story that I'm telling. And I'm just adding some dimensionals to this little die cut here, and I will add that to the bottom, and then we will move on to the next story. Like I said, I'll do the journaling on that other side, and I will type that out. And that is one thing I will say about whatever is hard for you. You have to recognize the thing that is hard. For me, journaling is really hard, and I prefer to do it on the computer, but that adds a layer to my memory keeping. Like currently, I have so many things that I need to journal. My personal album has no journaling in it. My Project Life albums are behind on journaling. This is behind on journaling. One Little Word is behind on journaling. And that is because I do have a running journaling list on my computer where I'm doing journaling. So for the month, for each month, I do journaling on my computer, regardless of whether my Project Life album is caught up or not. I just do that running journaling. And that's because I struggle with it. So also figuring out if there's a piece that you struggle with, what can you do to help that struggle? I know journaling's hard, so I've come up with a system that helps me to stay on top of it. But I just have to sit down and print all of it out. And so that is a whole process that I have to do, but I know the journaling's caught up and I'm not worried about it. It's not weighing on me. So if there's things that weigh on you, come up with a system to be able to do that. Okay, so jumping back into the project, I know this is like a tip video and a process video all in one. So for the next story, I just want to tell the story or do some journaling or share about loving fall and loving autumn. It's finally here in California. The weather has finally shifted into fall. We are in 70-degree days, and I'm ecstatic about it. And I just want to put together something pretty. This card right here says autumn. I think it's beautiful. I love the trees. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some pattern paper and then add this autumn. And then that is going to serve as my next story. So with my October daily, I'm not just using photos. I really am just having fun with my product. And I want to encourage you to have fun with these projects. Memory keeping should never be stressful. It's never something that you should look at and feel so overwhelmed and so stressed out that the fun of memory keeping isn't there. And whatever it is that is a struggle, that is stressful, I promise you, you can find a system to fix that and make it not stressful. One of the things that I find when I talk to people or when I'm helping somebody with a memory keeping project, the thing that I notice the most that causes the most stress is just comparing ourselves and our projects to other people and what we think they should look like or what we think they need to be or should be or should look like. And if you can let go of that and just know that memory keeping is meant to be fun. It is meant to be a space of looking back at photos, looking back at memories and documenting them and enjoying them and being excited for them And there is a whole range of emotion that comes with memory keeping that I adore. And sometimes it's, as Andrew turned 13 this week, and I was looking back at photos of when he was a baby, there was some sadness of like, we don't have little kids anymore. Like, we just don't. Like, our kids are older now. Andrew's 13, he's in middle school, and we have 2 in high school. And that little kid time for us is over. And so there's like some sadness, right, to process through. But I love the entire experience of memory keeping. And when you look at it through that lens of, it doesn't matter if you're behind, you're never behind. You just have more fun ahead of you. And I think when we can look at things from that perspective, then the projects it doesn't feel overwhelming. You just go, oh, I have more of this to do. And I absolutely love memory keeping for that. And also, I use lots of photos for lots of different things. I tend to use photos multiple times. I just had somebody who said to me, you do so many projects, and, do you ever duplicate a photo? And I said, oh, no, not in this project, I didn't. But I do duplicate photos in my projects because a photo tells multiple stories. And while that is also amazing, it can be overwhelming to look at a photo and think, well, what story do I tell, or or where does this go? I think that when it comes to your own personal memory keeping and scrapbooking and doing this as a hobby, follow your heart. Follow what feels natural to you, what you want to do, what feels motivating, what you're drawn to. If you will let that guide you, then it won't matter how far behind projects are or what you're currently working on. You will just know you're working on what is important to you in that moment, and that's what's going to get done. And also, the other thing about that is, even with this particular project, October Daily, I talked about this in my very first video. I did 30 Days of Thankful in November for 4 years. Okay, so you're not always going to figure it out right away. It took me 4 years to figure out this particular project. When I did it in November, it never got finished. And that's okay. You saw that I had albums that were not totally finished. They're not perfect. They don't have to be perfect. Your memory keeping projects do not have to be perfect. Those albums that I did during that time, they served a purpose. I loved doing them. I love having them. And whatever you're doing is enough. There is never any more that you have to do or that you need to do or that you should do. So when I was doing the project in November, it didn't get done. It didn't get finished. When I shifted and I did it in October, that last year that I did it, it got finished. It was perfection. I loved it. I got through it. It was absolutely amazing. And I realized in that moment that doing the project in November was not a good fit for me. It wasn't that the project wasn't a good fit. It was when I was trying to do it. So the same thing has happened with me with December Daily. Now, all of my December Daily albums are finished except last year's, because I had this moment last year where I realized how stressful December Daily was becoming. And December Daily is a project that Ali Edwards does. You basically do 25 stories. It's meant to be like kind of like October, exactly like October Daily. You tell a story a day, and it's a reflection of the holiday season. Now, I don't do a story a day. I just do 25 stories of Christmas, and I love it. And I love during December when everybody's working on the project and everybody's excited about it and everybody's sharing about it. But the holidays are really busy. And not only are they really busy, in recent years, they've gotten even busier with my kids being in theater, and all of their productions are in December. We are at the school 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. It just has almost gotten impossible to keep up with it. And this is what happened to me last year. Now, I just evaluated the project and I was like, am I just over doing December daily? I've done it for 7 years. Do I not want to do it anymore? No, I want to do it. The answer was very quickly, no, I still want to do this project. So how can I pivot and make this work? So here's the thing. Getting all of the photos printed in December, working on it in December is difficult. Mostly it's the photo situation. It seems like it always comes back when I'm having a hard time with memory keeping. It comes back to photos and getting them printed. So I decided last year that I would gather my collection. I would pick out my December collection, my Christmas collection. I would gather all of my supplies. And at the end of December, I would print my photos and I would stick them all together. And then this year, so a year later, this year, I would work on last year's December daily. And then this year, again, I'm going to pick out my collection. I'm getting ready to go to the Scrapbook Expo here in California this week. I'm going to specifically look for a Christmas, some Christmas product. And then in December, I'm going to get those photos printed. I'm going to keep all of that stuff together for next year, for 2025. And this year, during December, I will work on last year's December daily because I will have all the photos. I will be excited. I will want to work on December daily. I will see everybody's projects and I will get so excited and I'll want to work on it. But guess what? All my photos are already going to be done. Now, I will know that when I'm journaling my pages for December daily, it's going to be from a space of reflective journaling, meaning I'm looking back and I'm going to be looking at these photos and reflecting on what happened. It's not going to be in the moment, in the present, and that's going to be okay because I'm going to be able to work on the album, and then my hope is that I will have that album finished at the end of December. Now, this is the first year that I'm doing this, so I, of course, will keep you posted. But that is a perfect example of looking at a project and saying, am I just doing this because everybody else is doing it? Am I over this project? Have I done enough of it? You ask those questions, and then if it's, yes, I still want to do this. Yes, I'm still excited about it. Okay, well then how can I make it work? How can I fit it in? I have found definitely gathering my supplies and having more limited supplies to work with for a project is helpful. Like with October daily or December daily, that is a huge hurdle. And then, like I said, it always, for me, when I'm struggling with a project, it always comes down to printing photos. I mean, even with Kayla's album, the reason I'm at a standstill with it is because I need photos printed and I need them 12 by 12, and I don't have a 12 by 12 printer. So I can't just print those from home. Now, I did, because that is one of my struggles. I do have a smaller 4x6 photo printer. I have the Canon Selfie, and I've been considering this next year investing in a better printer for photo printing at home, because that is a bit of a struggle. Now, I have a really great local place that I pick my photos up at. My Walmart does photos great. I've picked them up at Walgreens and CVS. Those are spaces that are close to me, and I haven't liked the quality. Our Walmart happens to have a really great photo center, and so that's where I get my photos printed, and I do them once a month. I used to get my photos printed through Snapfish, and occasionally I still do. Their quality is sometimes hit and miss. My December daily photos a couple years ago were horrible and I hated them. But I've only ever had one bad experience with them. So again, that is something that I recognized that I struggled with a great deal. And so printing them locally for me is what works, because I can just send them, pick them up, have them in my hand. I don't have to wait. I don't have to upload them online and then wait 2 to 3 weeks to get them. It is more expensive. I will say, if you do Shutterfly or you do snapfish.com, it is cheaper. You can get 100 prints for, 99 cents or something, but then you have to wait multiple weeks before you get your photos. So I pay a little bit more to pick them up locally, but then I have them in hand right away. So that is some of the tips that I have for you, is to really just evaluate what it is that you're having a hard time with and walk through that and see if that, maybe you'll find that there's a project that you're doing that you don't really want to do. Or you'll find that there is a project that you want to do that you need to figure out a system for. And please reach out, leave a comment in the comments below. If you do this, if you walk through some of these questions and you figure out like, oh, this is why, leave a comment and I am happy to address any of these tips or tricks or thoughts more like in more depth if it would be helpful. So I just did, jumping right back into the project now, I did the autumn on the one side, on the left side of this project, and then I used another 4 square page protector, and then the October Delight, I stamped the number 6 on that, so that is story 6. I will do the journaling on this little spot here, and then that will be my story or my day 6 of October daily is this spread here. And it's just about how much I love this time of the year. I'm so happy to be back in fall. I feel like I come alive in fall and winter, and this has definitely been a very brutal summer in California. If you are in California, you know that it has been extremely brutal, and I am so happy to not be dealing with the heat. So this is how this layout turned out. The October Delight, that's a chipboard piece from Ali Edwards. I stamped the number 6 on it, and the ink I used is Concord and Ninth. It matches the purple in this collection really well. Again, my journaling for the story with Andrew will go on that back side, and then my next story will be using the grid right there. I will do that, and then this is how it's turning out. I do think that I will need a second album. I don't think that I can get all of it into this little album here, these rings. I might be able to get bigger like binder rings and then maybe it would work, but I'm just going with it. You can see for Stories of Home I added the journaling, the handwritten journaling right on the bottom, and then I do have a couple extra page protectors in here. It is getting easier to work with as more pages get in here. The rings are getting to be a little bit better and working a little bit better, and I'm just loving this. I love this collection from Tracy Reed, and I love this project so much. So thank you guys so much for having patience with me this week as we are on fall break and I'm just struggling. Currently it's like 5 a.m. and I am voiceovering this video. So here are 2 other videos on the screen for you that you can check out. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to give this video a like and subscribe if you want to. That always helps YouTube to be nice to me, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys so much, and I will catch you in my very next video.